And good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ty Quinones. 13 Action News has received countless calls, emails, and messages all over social media expressing frustration with trying to navigate the unemployment system. So to that, we say we hear you and we are here to help you. We have assembled experts to answer your questions over these next 30 minutes. Now, the need, as we know, is unprecedented. The Nevada Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation says that more than 300,000 people now have filed unemployment claims since mid-March. That is about 1 in every 10 Nevadans. So right now, let's introduce our experts. And Dr. Tiffany Tyler Gardner is the director of the Nevada Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation. And Latoya Wells right now is the business services manager also with the Employment Security Division. Thank you all so much for joining us. I know it has been a tough stretch on all of you. We appreciate you taking some time out here for us. So let's get right to our questions right now. Our first question is one that we have received in some variation over and over again, and that is one of our viewers emailing us saying that I filed on March 17th and still waiting. I call at least 500 times a day and still have not gotten through. Why are people having such a hard time getting through?
There are a number of factors, including not leveraging the online resources to complete the process. We have been strongly encouraging individuals to use the online system and before attempting their claim to please use the online resources, review those before they attempt, because we recognize that any errors or taking a trial and error process to the password process will create delay and may trigger adjudication for them. Additionally, as a part of the challenges, because we also are responsibility for managing fraud protection, in instances where individuals are making multiple attempts at their password or may have provided some incongruent information, they are triggered to call in to speak directly with someone at the call center. And while we have expanded our hours, days, increased staff, including put on additional technological advances, the system was never structured to receive the volume of calls and inquiries that we are receiving now. It is important to know that this week, as an additional support, we did launch a call center through an independent contractor to respond to general inquiries in hopes that folks would take those general inquiries to that call center to free up our existing lines for some of those more detailed questions that require additional support. So we apologize and empathize with their frustration, have increased resources, including staffing, hours, and technology support, and still are seeing a significant continuance in claims, which we get during this unprecedented time. But we ask folks to please call during non-peak hours. Please use the online resources before completing the process, attempting the process. And please rest assured that no matter when they submit their claim, that once we are able to process their claim, it will be backdated to the first day of eligibility. So no one will lose a benefit, no one will lose support.
Yeah, that is certainly good to know. Now, here is our next question from our viewer. Says that my claim says that I voluntarily quit. I reopened my claim after being laid off, yet it is using information from 8 years ago. Why is that?
Well, while I can't speak to his specific or her specific situation without more detail, I can tell you that there are instances where there may be some information that is incongruent in the system and that we need to reconcile that before we issue the benefit, because we want to be certain that we're providing the benefit to the right person and not the wrong person.
Now, also, we want to make sure we remind people that remember that if you are filing online, that there is now a last name system in place. So if your last name starts with A through K, you should file on Sundays. And then on Monday, you can apply. If your last name starts with L through R, then on Tuesday is for last names S through Z. Wednesday through Saturday, everyone can apply. This is all being done so people can try and make sure they can get through. This is all to help the traffic there on that Dieter website. All right, coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to hear from a panel of experts about what happens next after you get your debit card. We're getting a lot of questions about that. Stay with us. And welcome back to our special. We are getting live answers to questions that you all submitted about unemployment. We do have a panel of experts, all from Dieter. Here is our next question. Here we go. My portal has said pending resolution since March 22nd. Does that mean the department hasn't gotten to my application just yet? I have already received the debit card and I'm able to file weekly claims.
So it could mean a number of things, including that it's in the queue, but it may also mean that we've requested additional information from an employer or others and are awaiting a receipt and review of it.
Okay, let's go to our next question here. This is something that I haven't heard of before. She says my wife quit her job a week before the governor issued a stay-at-home order. Now, normally she would look for another job, but now there's no point. Can she file for unemployment?
While we don't encourage her to file for the traditional unemployment through the traditional unemployment process, there may be relief available to her under the CARES Provisions Act, noted as the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance.
All right,
While that is in the process of implementation, and there will be widespread notice when it is fully implemented and can be utilized, she probably is eligible for relief there.
All right, let's go to another question again from a viewer. It says, why are newly filed claims being handled before claims filed a month ago?
While we're not aware of those specific instances, I can tell you that the magnitude of the claims, as well as the individual needs of the claims, may result in different timelines for resolution. So an individual who followed the process, had pretty straightforward claim where there are not outstanding issues, could possibly see resolution before someone with a number of outstanding errors or challenges, or something that is in the middle of the adjudication process. However, it's important to note that we typically serve as they come in.
All right, let's go to another question right now, again, coming from our viewers, sent to us through social media or email. Here we go. It is, when is there going to be more help for people who are self-employed or people who work for casinos but did not make enough money to qualify for unemployment?
So there is additional relief in the near future. We anticipate being able to roll out the next provision of the CARES Act, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, during the early part of this coming month.
All right, thank you. Now, coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to hear from our panel of experts about your next steps if you do have to make a change to your address. Stay with us. And welcome back. We are continuing our live Q&A with experts from Dieter. They include Dr. Tiffany Tyler Gardner and also LaTanya Wells. Again, thank you so much for taking some time out to answer some of our viewers' questions. Okay, here is the next question. Because of a problem with the address that Dieter has on file, I have not received a debit card. The unit number for my apartment was incorrect and the debit card was returned to sender. I am unable to make the correction online and cannot get through on the phone. So how do I get this resolved?
It is important to make direct contact with someone at the call center. So I encourage the individual to call during a non-peak hour because we want to protect against fraud. Requests of personal information, including addresses, are information we typically like to verify through the call center process.
So that's a situation where they would have to actually get someone on the phone. You said non-peak hours. Can you take us, tell us what are the non-peak hours?
So we consider calling closer to the ending call times or midday. We've seen a throng of people calling in first thing in the morning at 8 a.m., which creates challenges for everyone accessing that system. So we would encourage you to, one, leverage the full 12 hours that it is open, because we did expand hours and are now taking calls up to 8 p.m. every evening. And while folks may receive a message in the morning indicating that the queue is full for the day, if we are able to complete calls throughout the day, the queue can open back up. So we encourage folks to check back in the afternoon and attempt calling as well.
All right,
And we want to underscore
yes, go ahead.
that every resource that you need to apply online, including submitting claims, the registration process, in-print process is available at uimv.gov. So you needn't call in if you don't have a unique situation, like you're in an adjudication process, something is being contested, or that there is a identity issue that we need to make sure that we address.
All right, let's move on to our next question here from our viewer. It says many Nevadans receive temporary pay extensions from their employers. Should they factor that in when determining what their last day of work was?
So they definitely should report any income that they have received and be sure to note in any prompted or requested fields that information.
So would that mean then they should include that pay extension as to when exactly they want to file for unemployment?
They should, yes, they should report the income. And if they want to wait until they've exhausted the income and are not fully, no longer receiving income from the employer, they can file.
So if they had a pay extension, then technically their last day would have been the last day of that pay extension.
And they should report the income associated with it.
Okay, thank you. Well, another question coming in right now. It says that I had 2 jobs, one full-time and one part-time. I lost my part-time job and my salary was cut at my full-time job. Can I still qualify for unemployment if I am not making that much money?
They may be eligible. So if they've received a reduction in pay or hours, because it is based on the wage for the previous 12 periods, if the amount they are receiving does not exceed the maximum wage that benefit that we provide, they may be eligible for support. Is there any detail you'd like to add to that?
As far as that is concerned, it just really depends on how much their weekly benefit amount would be. If they're making less than the benefit amount, that support that Dr. Tyler brought up can be made up to that maximum benefit amount that they are allotted.
And how do they know?
They can't support that.
I'm sorry. And so how do they know that information? Is there a website that sort of spells that out?
Yes, online at uimv.gov under the For Claimants tab, we include a full unemployment insurance handbook that provides very detailed information about the claims process as well.
All right, let's move on to another question right now. So what % of submitted claims have been approved for payment as of today, and what is the current backlog? Do you guys have a way of measuring this?
It is varying. I couldn't tell you what that number is today. What I can tell you that a significant percentage of the individuals who successfully were paid out last month received payment within less than 7 days. We are continuing to track those numbers, but it's important to note that that number is varying based on what is completed throughout the day as a part of that process.
All right, well, another question right now coming in is the biggest issue for many people, including myself, are related to deductible income, which is usually severance pay. Now, I have faxed my pay stubs, but still have not received a response and can get through, I'm assuming cannot get through on the phone. I have called for 11 days straight with no answer. The governor boasted about a new call center, but they can only answer general questions.
And so the specific question is?
Well, let me go back through it again. I'm sorry. Apologize here. Here it is. It says the biggest issue for many people, including myself, are related to deductible income, which is usually severance pay. Now, apparently they're saying that I've faxed my pay stubs, but still have not received a response. That seems to be the question.
So they're asking about the timeline and what is a reasonable timeline?
Yes, they're saying that I've called for 11 straight days with no answer.
What I can tell you is prior to the pandemic, that the average claim was processed within 7 days, and the maximum or most extreme cases were 21 days. But given the unprecedented magnitude of the claims that we are seeing to date, it is difficult to identify a trend to provide a framework for whether or not the 11 days is too long for this individual.
All right, we appreciate the fact that you are hearing these questions for the first time live, and you're doing your best to answer them, even though some of them might be a little ambiguous. So thank you for that. Now, coming up in just a couple of minutes here, we're going to hear from our panel of experts about why you may be declined because you're not able to look for work. Stay with us. All right, right now we are running out of time to get your answers on unemployment claims, but here are a couple more while we still have the time. Well, I filed my claim this week and received a message stating that it was declined because I didn't look for work. Well, it states on your website that is not necessary to look for work due to the mandated shutdown. We know the governor just went over that a couple of days ago.
So it's important to note that online at uinv.gov, under the For Claimants name, we've also provided resources that walk folks through the process of indicating that they did not do work search. We've actually set up a tutorial on how they can bypass that prompt so that they aren't declined.
Claims usually are not declined for lack of work search because it's been waived by the governor. However, we want to let the public know that there are several businesses that are still hiring. Yes, it's very different from how it has been in the past. So instead of having an in-person interview, we're doing more Skype interviews, more Zoom interviews, more phone interviews. So through our Job Connect offices, we are still listing jobs that are available to our job seekers. If there's businesses out there that need to utilize our services, by putting the information out there to those who are still looking for work, we are more than happy to do so. To the job seekers, they can look on our employeenv.gov website. There's more than 2,000 postings open as of right now, and they're growing daily. And I want to thank Channel 13 because you guys are our partner in that. And you've been so great with listing our openings for us and scrolling them throughout the week. So, you know, although we are on the shutdown, there are still essential jobs out there. There's work from home positions. So there's a various wide range of possibilities out there for any job seeker.
Yeah, we thank you for that. Certainly, we know so many people are going through such a hard time. So just to clarify that last question, so if someone is saying they are being declined employment because of that, unemployment because of that, you think either they probably filled it out incorrectly as opposed to being a glitch?
It probably created an issue, not a denial. So what happens is it goes through an adjudication process. And we basically will contact that person to see, you know, of course, they probably incorrectly just answered the question. The work search has been waived. The governor has waived that work search. So it may be delaying the claim, but not necessarily a denial.
All right, thank you. Another question right now. So there is an error on my daughter's claim and no one from unemployment has reached out to her. So how do I get this issue resolved?
We don't typically speak to third parties regarding a claim. So there is a website, there is a link on the governor's website for questions for password resets and, you know, small issues on claims that they can complete. And we are getting back to those emails within 24 hours. So if her daughter will go onto the governor's website and click that link and complete that information on what's necessary, we have a team that's working on that. So pretty much within 24 hours, we can get that handled. And it's probably just something small, just a small error. Usually it's password resets, just, you know, not taking the entire claim. Okay. But she could just go to the governor's website and do that.
We have just a couple minutes left here. So another question right now coming in. What kinds of jobs are you currently seeing that are available here in Southern Nevada? This is a good one.
So, of course, we have the warehouses, our grocery store clerks. We have healthcare providers that are definitely needed. We have, of course, we have seafood processors that's coming up. It's 300 positions coming up on that soon. We have loan modification processors, loan processors. There is a wide range of jobs that are available. And because EmployNV is user friendly, any job seeker can go right onto the website, log right on and see every job that is available in northern and southern Nevada.
So here's a good question related to that. What kind of skills should people be listing on their resumes to get those kinds of jobs?
Well, it depends on the job. What they can do is go onto the website and review the job, and it will let you know what kind of skills and what qualifications are necessary for those. There's other options where our staff or an employer can match those jobs to the qualified job seekers that we already have in the system. So, it's a self-service system. So any job seeker and or business can go in and utilize the system at however they need to.
Okay, well, time does fly by for sure. Now, we have reached the end of our time, unfortunately, for this conversation for now, but certainly we want to thank both of you, Dr. Tiffany Tyler Gardner, Director of DETA, and also LaTanya Wells. Thank you so much for your time. I know it has been a tough stretch for you guys as well.
It has, but we're moving along with it.
It's what we signed up to do, so we're thankful to support during this time.
Thanks again. Let's all remember to stay home for Nevada and help flatten the curve.